Previously, in the anime, Rick was so pissed off at Raster, but he kept his calm because Rionette advised him to. He lets him go on for 1 minute to observe his attacks, and in the meantime, Rionette and her party tells Elisa how they have trained Rick in 3 aspects of strength because Rick can't accumulate magic. And the training was so hard though that it'd be wise to say that he should have died by now, and he really did. Rick died several times. But Browston has a special heal ability that could save anyone if he casts it on a person who just died, so Rick experienced death several times to make his wish come true. That is to hunt down the Kaiser monster. Raster and his family started laughing at Rick, but Kaiser exists and Brugston and his team's goal is to hunt it down. That's why Rick also trained hard and becomes stronger than A-class mage and beats Raster to become an adventurer. After defeating him, Rick realized how strong he was. So now he was waiting for the results to see if he passed the adventurer test. That's why our story goes back into Rick's past when he read the heroic tale of Yamamoto that defeating the Kaiser monster would grant any wish. The hero in the story was unable to defeat Kaiser, but he wrote that a child who dreams to be an adventurer will be able to defeat it, so Rick wanted to become an adventurer. But his parents advised him to become something else because it's dangerous. Disappointed, he goes to check out his skills and doctor said he has a marker skill which is rare like the one in Yamamoto, but it can't manifest by sheer training alone as it would come naturally to him. So Rick gotta hope that he's the chosen one, so he wanted to tell his parents once his skill awakens, but he told his friends about this and daily Rick waited for his skill to awaken. Even his friends kept asking, but he always answered that it would take time because it's special, and time flew by and they all grew up. And yet his skill didn't awaken even then, so time goes by just like that again, and Rick joined the Tiger Road Guild to work there as a receptionist. His parents were delighted that Rick is going down to the way for a settled life, and thus Rick started to work there seeing the adventurer and still hoping to awaken his skill, but no luck. And even so he continues on with his life with envy and meets Elisa around. Then one day his patience broke apart and he was on the verge of leaving his dream behind and started helping around Elisa as she was new. And the news is that monster activities have grown much lately, so he warned Elisa that new quest will appear soon. And there Zaid came in to show he's promoted to B-rank adventurer, which makes Rick jealous, so he drank a little thinking how he spent many years working and nothing more. But it wasn't that bad to be precise, and suddenly he heard that there's a monster appeared in the town, so he ran towards that direction and saw it was real, and right there, a girl was walking by and Rick jumps in to save the girl. But she killed the monster in a blink of an eye because it was Rionette whom he tried to save. Rick was a little embarrassed because he tried to save her and she saved him instead. And then she told him her name to Rick and Rick thought she must be a B-rank adventurer because she's this strong. But Rionette said she's not a B-rank. So Rick thought she's an A-rank and got excited, but she's not that either, she's a S-rank adventurer. And Rick realized she's the one of the legend that works directly under the main branch of guild. Rick got a bit shy yet he wanted to tell her his dream. So Rionette assured her she won't laugh because it's been 9 years since she last laughed, so Rick told her he dreamed of defeating the strongest monster Kaiser. He has an inborn skill but it hasn't manifested yet, but just maybe. Rick asked if he has a shot. Rionette told him that magic needs to be developed through young age or else it becomes impossible for anyone to gather magic, so Rick's chances of becoming an adventurer are close to none. Heartbroken from this, Rick puts up a brave act to leave his dreams behind, but out of nowhere he asked Rionette for a meal, and surprisingly she agreed to it and decided to meet tomorrow. So Rick was in a double good mood now that he got a nice date with an awesome lady, but the monster again ruined his date plans. And yet he goes to the site where he saw Rionette already took care of it on her own, even so they kept coming out of the woods and Rick backs off so as not to become a hindrance to her. Rionette used her skills to cut down every last one of them. But suddenly she felt something and remembers past experience, and she got a trauma that made her unable to move. But luckily Zaid and others stepped in to defend the town. Zaid tells Rick to take the lady back to the safety as they started to handle the monsters on their own, seeing it made him more envious. And Rionette told him there's a dragon nearby, because her body always has a traumatic reaction to the dragon's presence. Every time she feels a dragon's magic, she loses control over her magic. And right there the monster in talks made his appearance. So the dragon was the reason other monsters were coming over to the town, and it's a rule never to fight a dragon if someone's under A rank. But the mage got intimidated by the dragon and attacked in fear, which was a mistake on their part, so they tried to run away but the dragon trapped them inside of a barrier to kill them. Their Rick stood up because they're going to die anyways, so he wants to die fighting like an adventurer, and Zaid and other two also followed Rick's lead. But all their attack didn't even make a scratch on him, and Dragon used his breath and they were saved only because Zaid used a metal spell. There Rick again stood up to fight and got crushed under his paws, but that activated his inborn skill which he was waiting for all this year. His magic was overflowing that it became visible to naked eyes, and finally Rick got his wish come true when he killed it on a get-go. But that took a toll out of his body and he woke up in a hospital as all his magic circuit in the body were destroyed, so it's safe to say he's even lucky to have survived. Plus he woke up after 1 week and Rionette was here all this time. She told him her party's main goal is to kill Kaiser, so this confirms its exist. And the bravery Rick showed is also a proof that he could become stronger to become an adventurer, so he got emotional hearing this, and later he joined Aura Halcom Fist to train. And that brings us back to the present. Rick learned he had passed the test and became an adventurer, so this marked the beginning of his new life. And right here, our video ends for today. By the way, if you haven't watched the previous episodes, the playlist link is in the description. Please go there to watch episode 3 to understand the storyline perfectly, and if you watched the previous episodes, then like the video and subscribe the channel to support me. Until next time.